Well, April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month. The annual campaign aims to raise awareness about the causes and risk factors for and of sexual violence.
It also aims to empower survivors and help others take steps to prevent it in their communities. Joining us to discuss all of this and more is Taylor Johnson from the National Women's Coalition Against Violence and Exploitation. Taylor, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. This is an important conversation, and let's start with the very basic. What is sexual assault?
Yeah, so sexual assault is essentially any type of sexual contact or behavior that occurs without the consent of the recipient. And this includes rape and molestation. This includes sexual harassment in any setting, including online, exposing or flashing, groping, or any sort of unwanted sexual touching above or under the clothing, forcing a person to pose for sexual pictures, or also sharing or publicizing intimate pictures without consent.
And it's amazing at how often it occurs, and not just to women. A lot of men experience it as well.
Right, that's correct. It's estimated that someone experiences sexual assault in the U.S. every 73 seconds. It's also estimated that about 1 in 5 women are rape survivors, that 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men have experienced sexual violence in their lives, and that 1 in 4 men and 1 in 6 men were sexually abused before the age of 18. And it's also more likely for people to know their assailants, whether it's an intimate partner or an acquaintance, rather than it being a stranger, which is sort of commonly predicted or commonly displayed in the media and things like that. And it's also estimated that 3 out of every 4 sexual assaults are not reported. And despite data showing an increase in self-reports, of rape and other sexual assault, there has been a decrease in reporting to the police. And a lot of this has to do with the stigma that exists around sexual assault.
You know, talk a little bit about that stigma and why that still exists.
Yeah, so it's very common for victims to feel ashamed, embarrassed, or fearful of being blamed, which often holds them back from telling police or their friends or their family. And a lot of this has to do with this rape culture that exists and feels the need to question irrelevant things like how much alcohol the victim consumed or how suggestive their clothing was. There's also this misconception that an incident can't be considered sexual assault if the victim didn't verbally tell the perpetrator no. And there are many reasons why someone might not explicitly say no. Some reasons might be fear over losing their job if their abuser is has a position of power over them. Some might not even know that they are experiencing sexual assault. And they may also fear that saying no could, put their lives at risks. And it's just important to remember that consent is not the absence of a no, it is the presence of an informed and freely given yes.
So what can people do to help survivors of sexual assault or sexual violence?
Yeah, that can be really tricky. And some of the best ways we can support, first and foremost, the best way we can support survivors is to believe them. It's important that we validate their feelings and express our concern. And it's also really important that we don't ask about the details unless they choose to give them to us. That includes, it can be very traumatizing for a victim to have to relive that experience. And some supportive things we could say to a survivor include telling them I believe them, telling them I'm so sorry this happened to you. You didn't deserve what happened to you. What happened to you is not your fault. You're not alone. I care about you, and I'm here to listen and help you in any way I can. Those are just some of the best ways that we can really be there for our people if they're experiencing any sort of sexual violence in their lives.
And the resource that people can turn to if they need more information?
Yeah, so the National Women's Coalition Against Violence and Exploitation is a national anti-violence nonprofit. And so our website, nwcave.org/help, has a long list of hotlines and legal resources. And also our partners at the No More Foundation at nomore.org and RAINN.org, which is RAINN.org. They have a ton of resources and information for their sites for people who have experienced sexual assault and who are also and other people who are also just looking for resources and information about how to help their loved ones. And another great resource is your local YWCA. They have a lot of great resources that are specific to helping victims and survivors of sexual assault.
Well, it's good that people know that there are places to go where they can receive help, including legal help as well. So, Taylor, really, thanks so much
for joining us
and talking about this.
Thank you so much for having
important.
me.